In 1935, a German anthropologist named Ralph von Koenigswald walked into a pharmacy in Hong Kong. The shop sold traditional Chinese medicine, and among its inventory was a collection of fossils labeled as dragon teeth. These were not rare items. For centuries, Chinese apothecaries had purchased oversized teeth and bones from farmers and cave explorers, grinding them into powders and selling them as remedies. Nobody asked what the teeth had come from. They were ancient, they were large, and that was enough. Koenigswald knew immediately that what he was holding was not a dragon. It was a molar tooth, and it was enormous, 3 to 4 times the size of any tooth from any known great ape. He purchased it, then spent years tracking down more specimens from other pharmacies across Southeast Asia. By the time he had enough material to publish, he had identified a primate that dwarfed every other ape in the fossil record. He named it Gigantopithecus blacki. The species name honored Davidson Black, a Canadian paleontologist who had spent his career studying human evolution in China and had died the year before. Koenigswald could not formally publish his findings until 1952 because he was captured and interned by Japanese forces during World War II. The discovery of the largest primate ever to walk the earth sat in a drawer, unpublished, while its discoverer sat in a prison camp. Think about what that means. The evidence for the largest ape in history was sitting in a Chinese pharmacy, being sold as medicine for centuries. Nobody recognized it. Then the one man who did recognize it was locked away for years before he could tell anyone. How many more discoveries have been ground into powder and swallowed before anyone could look at them? In the decades since, nearly 2,000 teeth and 4 partial jawbones have been recovered, all from caves in southern China and the surrounding region. 16 separate cave sites have yielded specimens. No complete skeleton has ever been found, no skull, no limb bones, just teeth and jaws, sitting in the drawers of museums around the world, belonging to the largest primate that has ever existed on this planet. Scientists believe the reason no other bones have survived is that porcupines and other rodents consumed the skeletal remains before fossilization could occur, a common problem in the cave environments of subtropical Asia. Based on the size of those teeth and jaws, scientists estimate that Gigantopithecus stood approximately 10 feet tall on its hind legs and weighed between 500 and 1,200 pounds. It was bigger than any gorilla, bigger than any bear, bigger than anything that walks on 2 legs today, and it lived at the same time as early humans. Gigantopithecus blacki fossils range from approximately 2 million years old to roughly 200,000 to 300,000 years old. That means this creature walked the forests of Asia while Homo erectus was already there. The two species overlapped for over 1 million years. They shared the same forests. They breathed the same air. They were neighbors. A study of fossils from Tam Quyen Cave in Vietnam confirmed that Gigantopithecus and Homo erectus lived in the same place at the same time, their remains found in the same deposits. Imagine being an early human walking through a subtropical forest in what is now southern China and encountering a primate that stood 10 feet tall and weighed half a ton. You would remember that. You would tell your children. Your children would tell theirs. And across 1 million years of coexistence, those stories would become deeply embedded in the collective memory of every human culture that shared the landscape with this animal. Is it a coincidence that the oldest and most persistent legends of giant hair-covered beings come from exactly the regions where Gigantopithecus is confirmed to have lived? For decades, the fundamental question about Gigantopithecus was where it sat on the primate family tree. Was it related to gorillas, to humans, to orangutans? Without DNA, which degrades rapidly in the hot, humid environments of Southeast Asia, scientists could only guess based on the shape of the teeth and jaws. In 2019, that changed. A team led by researcher Frido Welker at the University of Copenhagen extracted protein sequences from the enamel of a Gigantopithecus molar recovered from Chuifeng Cave in southern China. The tooth was 1.9 million years old, making it the oldest dental protein ever successfully sequenced and the first ancient genetic material ever recovered from a subtropical environment. Using a technique called paleoproteomics, the team compared the protein sequences to those of living great apes. The result was definitive. Gigantopithecus blacki is most closely related to the orangutan. The two lineages split from a common ancestor approximately 10 to 12 million years ago. The study was published in the journal Nature and was described by scientists across the field as a breakthrough. Now here is where this becomes relevant to the Bigfoot question. Gigantopithecus lived in the dense forests of Asia. It was a massive primate capable of bipedal locomotion. Its teeth show a diet of tough, fibrous plant material, stems, roots, bark, tubers, and fruit. It occupied exactly the kind of deep forest habitat that Bigfoot is reported to inhabit. It lived alongside humans for over 1 million years before it supposedly went extinct roughly 300,000 years ago. The word supposedly is important. In paleontology, an animal is declared extinct when the most recent fossil evidence runs out. For Gigantopithecus, the youngest confirmed fossils are from 200,000 to 300,000 years old. But this does not mean the animal died 300,000 years ago. It means we have not yet found fossils younger than that. In a subtropical forest environment where bone and tooth decompose rapidly, the absence of recent fossils is expected, not diagnostic. The most recent fossils represent the last time conditions happened to preserve the remains, not the last time the animal was alive. Consider the Coelacanth. Fossil evidence suggested this deep-sea fish went extinct 66 million years ago, at the same time as the dinosaurs. Then, in 1938, a living specimen was pulled from the Indian Ocean. 66 million years of missing fossil record. The fish had been alive the entire time. Consider the Wollemi pine. Fossil evidence ended 34 million years ago. Then in 1994, a park ranger in Australia found a grove of them growing in a remote canyon. 34 million years of absence from the fossil record, and the tree was standing right there. The assumption that Gigantopithecus is extinct is based entirely on the absence of recent fossils. It is not based on the discovery of a mass death event. It is not based on evidence that its habitat disappeared. In fact, the tropical and subtropical forests of Southeast Asia that Gigantopithecus inhabited still exist today, reduced but not eliminated. The ecological niche is still there. The food sources are still there. The only thing missing is the fossil. And now, consider the geography. During the Pleistocene, when Gigantopithecus was alive, the Bering Land Bridge connected Asia to North America. This was the same bridge that humans used to cross into the Americas roughly 15,000 to 20,000 years ago. If humans made the crossing, what stopped a large, adaptable primate from doing the same? Gigantopithecus lived in northern Asian forests. The land bridge was accessible, and on the other side lay millions of square miles of uninhabited forest, stretching from Alaska to California to the Appalachian Mountains. This is the Gigantopithecus hypothesis, and it is the only Bigfoot theory that is grounded in the fossil record. It does not require an undiscovered species, aliens, or interdimensional beings. It requires only that a known animal, one that is confirmed to have existed and that lived alongside humans for over 1 million years, survived longer than its most recent fossil, and crossed a land bridge that we know was crossable. The physical descriptions match. Every eyewitness account of Bigfoot from the Pacific Northwest to the Appalachians describes a creature that is 10 feet tall or slightly less, weighing an estimated 500 to 800 pounds, bipedal, covered in hair, with a heavy-set body and a diet that includes vegetation and roots. That is Gigantopithecus. The size matches, the build matches, the habitat preference matches, the diet matches. In the previous video, we covered how Professor Jeff Meldrum at Idaho State University identified a mid-tarsal break in Bigfoot footprint casts, indicating a flat, flexible foot adapted for mountainous terrain. In 2008, Meldrum traveled to China's Shenongjia Nature Reserve, where the Chinese government had investigated their own version of the creature, the Yeren, the wild man. The Yeren has been reported in the same region where Gigantopithecus fossils are found, and the Chinese footprint casts showed the same mid-tarsal break, the same flat, flexible foot, the same proportions as the North American Bigfoot casts, the same foot, on 2 continents, in the exact regions where Gigantopithecus either lived or could have migrated to. The scientific establishment points to one major objection. The 2019 protein study and all prior analysis of Gigantopithecus teeth and jaws suggests the animal was primarily quadrupedal, walking on all fours like an orangutan rather than upright like a human. If Gigantopithecus walked on 4 legs, it cannot be the bipedal creature people are reporting as Bigfoot. This objection is reasonable, but it is based entirely on teeth and jaws. No limb bones of Gigantopithecus have ever been found, no pelvis, no femur, no spine. The conclusion that it was quadrupedal is an inference drawn from its relationship to orangutans, not from direct evidence of how it moved. An animal can be related to a quadruped and still walk upright. Humans are related to chimpanzees, which are quadrupedal. Gorillas, which are primarily quadrupedal, regularly walk upright for short distances. Evolution does not follow a single path. And without a complete skeleton, the question of how Gigantopithecus moved is genuinely unanswered. There is also the matter of the 2024 Extinction study published in Nature, which concluded that Gigantopithecus went extinct because it was unable to adapt to changing forest environments. As forests thinned and gave way to more open landscapes, the massive ape could not adjust its diet or behavior. Instead of becoming smaller and more versatile like its orangutan relative, Gigantopithecus did the opposite. It got bigger. Researchers found that during the period of environmental stress, the animal actually increased in size, doubling down on its existing strategy rather than adapting. It became too large to move through thinning forests, too specialized in its diet of fruit and tough vegetation, and too slow to range far enough to find adequate food. It starved. The orangutan, smaller and more agile, survived by switching to a broader diet of leaves, flowers, nuts, seeds, and insects. This is a well-supported conclusion based on chemical analysis of tooth enamel and sediment dating. But it describes what happened to the population in southern China. It does not account for the possibility that some individuals or some populations survived in denser forest pockets elsewhere. It does not account for migration. The giant panda was nearly extinct in the wild and was only found in small, isolated mountain forests in a tiny fraction of its historical range. Had we relied only on fossil evidence from most of China, we would have declared it extinct too. Every Bigfoot video on this channel has presented a different piece of the puzzle. The sightings, the sounds, the kidnappings, the indigenous knowledge, the government files, the forensic evidence. This video is about the one thing that could explain all of them with a single answer. A 10-foot primate that lived alongside humans for 1 million years, that science has confirmed existed, that occupied forests on 2 continents, and that went missing from the fossil record only 300,000 years ago, which in evolutionary terms is yesterday. Its teeth were sold as dragon bones in Chinese pharmacies for centuries because nobody knew what they were. Its closest living relative, the orangutan, is one of the most elusive primates on Earth, rarely seen even in known habitats. And the forests it lived in are still standing. The question has never been whether a creature like Bigfoot could exist. Gigantopithecus proves it did. The question is whether it stopped existing, and the only evidence we have for that is a gap in the fossil record. The same kind of gap that fooled us about the Coelacanth for 66 million years. The largest primate that ever lived was real. It walked the same forests we walk. And the only reason we know about it at all is because an anthropologist walked into a pharmacy in 1935 and recognized a dragon tooth for what it really was. If he had not walked into that shop, we would not know Gigantopithecus ever existed, and we would be having this same conversation, wondering what leaves those prints in the mud, with one fewer answer to consider.